Namaste everyone. Welcome to our weekly Bhagavad Gita class. Today will be our 22nd weekly discussion group led by Ajay Dr. DrTPS. Dr. DrTPS, floor is for it.
Namaskaram, Dilipji. Actually, today floor is not for me. I finished whatever I have to say up to 9th chapter probably 3 weeks back. Last 2 sessions also we had a little brief and then had a good discussion. So I believe we should have today directly questions being the last session in this series of sessions. So you could ask.
Commonly people have a doubt that is Gita already happened or just epic?
There are two story types in our Bharatiya Shastra. One is called Idihasa and another one is called Purana. Idihasas are where the writer himself is part of the story. I cannot write something where I have a role and then say it is not happened. When I play a role, it is understood that this is what happened now. I am part of it. Itihasam. This is what it is now there with me. So I am sure both Ramayana and Mahabharata, both are Idihasas. It is not that somebody know that and then as Purana, stories which are told by somebody from their mind. Therefore, both Ramayana and Mahabharata, both would have happened. But if you ask whether it happened in this large scale, it could be a question. Maybe 18 days war would have happened. It would have happened between two families. Whether Krishna gave 4 hours of chanting, as Gita needs minimum 4 hours to finish one chanting, probably no. Because I think earlier also once we had a small discussion in which if I want to tell something to someone, I need not keep talking about conveying something. If I look at somebody also, they know. If I am having a guest in my house and then I have to tell this is time for you to bring tea, or maybe I have to tell my son this is time, good enough, go and study. I don't have to tell him go and study. Look is good enough. They realize. Both Krishna and Arjuna had such a relation. Probably what dialogue they had in between. When a third person like Vyasa, who wrote it, made a poetry and a story to explain, it would not have happened that way. And whether Vyasa himself wrote Mahabharata this long, there are many stories. It was not even called Mahabharata. Earlier it was called something else, then Bharata, then Mahabharata. Added so many slokas added to that. And today what we see is Gita or Mahabharata is not even that. Many people would have kept on adding their interpretations. Otherwise, I don't think in Bhagavad Gita when you read, you will see a lot of same concept being repeated many times. Generally, great poets, great speakers, maybe advisors like Krishna to Arjuna, why he should keep on repeating same word. And many of the slokas, if you look at it, it is Guhyataram, Guhyatamam, Guhyam, most secret, most secret, most secret, many times. If you tell one secret, that's good enough, they understand. So I'm sure there would have been a lot of dilutions or maybe additions. Commentaries would have added many things. And some slokas in the meter in which it is written also is not in the same throughout Bhagavad Gita. Not all 700 or 701 slokas have the same meter for writing. They use different meters. Generally, when somebody makes a poetry, somebody makes a book, they don't use different meters in writing. So that is also one reason to guess that it would not have been from one person. But there are a lot of such questions and answers. But generally, I believe it is not important to know who are the people who fought war, who wrote it, whether this happened or not. The objective and scope. What is the purpose of this? What is the message Bhagavad Gita gives? How does it matter to me? A war which happened 5,000 years back. Today, why are we discussing? Is it a religious requirement of discussing that? Or is it something beyond that? Is there anything which we can take home, which we can practice in our life? These are all the questions to be answered. So probably at that point of time, whatever Krishna said, Arjuna, we believe that he understood. No, he did not be understood perfectly. Otherwise, last way of telling, Yadeshchati Tata Guru, you do what you want. I told what I want should not have been there. And then, even after Mahabharata war, Bhagavad Gita was taught. Whether Arjuna understood perfectly, the answer is no. Because there was another dialogue between Arjuna and Krishna, and that is called Guru Gita, Uttara Gita. And Uttara Gita clearly mentions that you don't require to learn all this. That is why it has not become so famous. If we make Uttara Gita very famous, Bhagavad Gita will go to dustbin. Nobody will look at it. Because only few slokas which explains, actually this Gita is not required for people. You need only to know practically how to live. You need to know how to breathe. Little pranayama is there. Though 6th chapter is full of yoga. People did not even understood or read. That is one of the biggest problem. See, I would not have never told anybody in my life that I do meditation. Because meditation is not something which anybody has to do in this world. You will understand only when you go through 6th chapter, understand, not learning. When you learn, you will think, yeah, these are all like that. But you understand, you know that this is not part of our job. But we have to sell it to somebody else. In the West, probably you should use all these words. Right? Otherwise, samadhi. If people understood that, one sloka or two slokas would have been good enough. But why do you need a full chapter? Because many people would not have understood the way it is to be understood. Therefore, commentators, people started adding more and more explanation. So from the explanation, we know that it has been expanded, but there would have been some spark. Without spark, fire will not happen. So whether it was a big fire happened or it's only a spark, I believe it would have been a small spark. Because if it would have been happened in Ayodhya, to say Ramayana, or maybe Mahabharata, which has happened in the Kurukshetra, the place Kurukshetra today, as we look at it geographically, is a small place. If you look at the first chapter, the way in which the formation of the warfield is there, we need to have a extent as big as Pakistan. Maybe from Kurukshetra to north, it has to go up to Islamabad to fill that area. Because that is too large. But as per today, Kurukshetra is only 60 km by 60 km. If that many number of elephants, that many number of soldiers, we don't know in Kurukshetra there was water also during that time. Because when you gather that many people, that many elephants, who are all staying there for 18 days, we should look at the resources available. And there is a big shapa in that place. After the war, trees will not grow. If it is only Kurukshetra, still if you look at Kurukshetra, there are trees. So if you have to compare with, you have to totally believe Mahabharata and the Shapa after that, we must tell that it did not happen in Kurukshetra, it would have happened in somewhere in Rajasthan. Got it? So there are so many geographical interpretations, historical interpretations. There are a lot of studies done on this. And it says there was a big war. There was a lot of arrow formations in the way in which the elephants were. The military word is called formations. The way in which you arrange the soldiers and the vehicles. And those days, maybe instead of vehicles, we had elephants, we had horses, chariots, all that, in which way you arrange it. Whether such trapping of people happened or not. In which we will see in today's serial and then some of the cinemas. Whether such things happened or not. There were a lot of military people who did studies, and there is a beautiful movie on, there is a beautiful book written by one of the very senior military person. The formations of Mahabharata war. How is it being used in relevant today in army also. So I am sure without making it practice, without forming such a formation, somebody can imagine, a poet can imagine, quite impossible. I don't think a poet can imagine this is how the formation has to be to have a fight. So there would have been a lot of people involved in making such a formation. Military experts would have been there. And those experience by seeing Vyasa would have written. Because Vyasa also have a role in Mahabharata. So it is blown up, but there is a spark there. But what we are hearing today can be a fire. Yeah. Good logical question, which probably most of the people know the answer, but it's nice to have a question like that and answer it so that it is in record. That we also dealt with that. Good. Thank you, Dilipji.
A lot of time people ask this question. Yeah. Sometimes they want to criticize the Indian culture. Sometimes because of the curiosity. A lot of time I hear.
Even Ramayana, what we know, if you look at it in Purana also, Ramayana is explained because Shiva gave this story to Parvati. The way in which what happened some time back. Right? So it is both Idihasa and Purana. The version in which somebody explains can be a Purana. But what Vatmiki wrote can be a real Idihasa. But then if you look at it, there are more than 70-80 versions of Ramayana. Because many people started writing in their own version, it could be entirely different. In the relationship between Sita and Ravana also are different. Right? So many people would have interpreted, written, added, twisted, diverted in their own style. That is quite possible. Because we are not talking about what happened maybe 100 years, 200 years, what happened when printing mechanism, writing mechanism was there. We are talking something which has happened, probably Ramayana is maybe 16 lakhs of years back. Mahabharata is at least 5,000 years back. God only knows what happened, when it happened really. Yeah. If you believe that maybe after 38 years of the war, when the Kalikala ended, and if you believe Kalikala started in the 3100 BC time, now it is approximately 5200 years old. So definitely there can be twisted. Yeah.
So at one place,
Yeah.
Bhagavan says, all being are me, but I am not in them.
Yeah.
Then the second verse is, he says they are not in me.
Yeah.
So there is a controversy in these two.
Yeah.
Kindly explain.
See, God is existing everywhere. That is what Bhagavan says when I say I am there in each one. But you may not realize it. That is what we call it as realization. Only when I get realized, I know God is in me. So if I am very creative, then I can say Brahma is in with me, because Brahma is the God of creativity. When I have lot of money, I can say Lakshmi is with me. But then when I don't have money, I will say Lakshmi is not with me. When I have got lot of knowledge, I can say Lakshmi is, Saraswati is with me. So when I don't have knowledge, I will say, oh, I don't have knowledge. I don't have Saraswati with me. So the existence of God depends on the way in which you think, where, in what context. Assume somebody is asking a foolish question. You may say, why you don't have buddhi or not? Is it your intelligence is not working? That doesn't mean he doesn't have. It is not showing that ability to think in that way. Then we say you don't have that knowledge. Your mind is not working. The working itself is the mind. Without working, there is no mind. Mind means it is working. That means mind is not there. So the God is that energy. When you have that energy, you say God is there. Though there is energy, once it is not connected in the right proper direction, we say that connection is not done. That means it is not showing its power. Air is there, but only there is a wind, we feel the air. So it needs a movement, it needs a work. That's why Bhagavan always believed every moment there is action. But then why do you say you have to be active? God himself is saying, in any kshanam, any moment, you cannot be without action. Nehi kaschit kshanamabi jatu tishtati karma krit karye dahya vasha karma sarva prakriti jair gunai. Every person is active every moment of time, because activity is not a physical activity. Even when you are sleeping, there is something which is active. Then why do we say that we are not in action? Oh, to your capacity, in which way you are supposed to be, you are not working. So if you work in that stage, then you say we are. See, for example, death stage, yeah, your temperature is not, warmth is not there, movement is not there, action is not there, breath is not there. That is death. What is coma stage? Suppose somebody is in a coma stage. What do you say? Temperature is there, breath is also there, but movement is not there, action is not there. Right? When you are asleep, what happens? Warmth is there, temperature is there, movement is also there, breath is also there, action is missing. But what is wakefulness? Jagrat. That means all these four situations are there. We have warmth, we have movement, we have action, we have breath. So when life is not there, when we say life is not there, all these four are missing. But when we are sleeping, we say I am not alive, I am not active. But action is not seen in the other three forms, only one form we see action. So it's all the way you interpret it. If you are very creative, you say, oh, Brahma is there in me. If I am able to answer things, we say, oh, Saraswati is there in me. So Krishna Bhagavan, he is existing each one of us in different quantity, different style, different forms. So at time we feel, oh, God is not there with me, because everything is not working in the style. That means you are not creative, you are not in action, your education is not supporting you, your Brahma is not active, you are not peaceful. God is there, I should be peaceful, I should have Shakti. That is why when Shankaracharya once said, no, I don't have energy, I lost my Shakti. But he had Shakti. If there is no Shakti, how do you breathe? When I say I don't have energy, that means for some purpose I don't have energy. So it all depends on what context he speaks, what context we should understand. So our idea is, God should be there, energy should be there with us throughout. What is spirituality? Spirituality is the power of being active, doing things very cool, very active, with ease. You are always in peace. That's what it shows. And if you are always in peace and you are able to do multitasking 100% easily without taking much of tension, then you are a spiritual. If you can do that, yeah, God is in you. But all the time you are not. 24 hours, 365 days, every moment are you like that is a question. We cannot, because we are in the prarabdha, the materialistic world where many things will hamper our being spiritual sometimes. So we are in a mixed world. So that time God is not with us. That's what it says. That's what you can see in, maybe gradually Bhagavan is taking us from 6th chapter, 7th chapter to realize this. It's a wonderful question. We could discuss that for years together. There is no end.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, madam. Ji. Princess.
Sir, I just, I don't know how to put it. So, basically in Bhagavad Gita, you find there is an emotional element is running throughout the Bhagavad Gita.
Yeah.
Emotional bonding between Krishna and Arjuna.
Yeah.
And emotional bonding between Dhritarashtra and Duryodhan, and emotional bonding is not there with Gandhari and his sons, but emotional bonding you find everywhere. So is that emotion is also rational? That is first. Is that emotion is rational? And if we go by another question is that we say dharma is this way, we understand that it's a kind of essential property of a thing. Dharma means which controls or sustains the universe. Then if somebody is saying something and you know that it is not dharmic, then still you accept because there is a universal principle which already been pre-exist and you have to obey that. Okay, even somebody like Dhritarashtra says something and knowing that Yudhishthir that this is not a principle of dharma, still he obeys his like out of respect. He didn't deny what Dhritarashtra asked. Is it the right dharma someone should take up? And doing so many immoral, we can't say immoral, but immoral things, then we still call Yudhishthir a dharmic person. And watching everything injustice going on, Bhishma Pitama also didn't raise his voice. Then also we say that he is great person. So what is the kind of through legal system if we want to judge Bhagavad Gita? So how do you interpret the justice system and what is the dharma? I just don't understand its nature.
One thing what Dr. Jayanti did is, we are discussing Bhagavad Gita, but you asked so many questions which are not part of Bhagavad Gita, which is Mahabharata.
Yes, yes.
Right.
True.
Yeah, that is why I said we cannot see Bhagavad Gita without looking into Mahabharata, because the context is understood. In whole Bhagavad Gita, Dhritarashtra is only giving 4 lines. That shows how much bondage he has got to his people and how he considers his own cousins. Actually, when father is not there, traditionally, the father or mother or brother or uncle or somebody whose children are also considered as their own children. But that shloka is good enough to explain what sort of a character Dhritarashtra is. Sarva dharma as a relative is forgotten there. That is why we say he is not a dharmic Purusha. Because he himself had a doubt on his dharma. That is why Bhagavad Gita is a book which describes or started with the dharma. Dharma kshetre kurukshetre. He says this is dharma kshetram where dharma has to prevail. That is what he says. Especially because Kuruvamsha, that is my family, is stubborn in establishing dharma. That's why he says Kurukshetra. It is both Dharma Kshetra and Kurukshetra. But he himself diluted in the third line. Right? Samaveta Yuyutsavaha, they joined together with all that fustiveness, the smartness to fight. Mamaka Pandavascheva, my people and Pandavas. There he left his dharma. Why he left his dharma? Because it is natural. He is a blind man. So whether physically blind or totally dharmic blind, the answer is to be given that he was a dharmic blind man. But he had that impulsion or compulsion, the impulsive, natural dharma which is prevailing in those places during that time. He is not totally out of that dharma. That's why he used dharma kshetra. He knows that this is a place where dharma has to prevail. Right? Whereas Gandhari is taken a oath that she is totally with this blind man as blind lady. Right? So that is a oath taken by her. See, in Bharatiya Shastram, if you see, she is not having any role in ruling the world. Only Dhritarashtra has got the role of a king. So he must be concerned about Dharma Shastra. Whereas she is only a wife. So her dharma is only the Bhartru dharma. No other dharma. See, dharma itself has to be seen in different angle, different holes. Each hole gives you different dharma. The way in which you look at it, the context in which you look at it, who is looking at it, it varies. Now, most of the people have this question, Dharmaputra is not done totally dharma in the war. That is wrong. Dharmaputra as a person is dharmic. Dharmaputra as a warrior in a war field is a Kshatriya dharma. The Kshatriya dharma is, I am in a war, I must win. The advocate, even he has seen a culprit doing a mistake, if that culprit comes to me and I am the advocate, he says, you must save me. As an advocate, my job is not to tell the fact. How I twist that? Because in court, though we call it as Nyaya Dharma establishment place, that is what is court. But there, advocate's dharma is not as an individual dharma. So we will see this conflict. There is no conflict. We will see this conflict. There is no conflict, but we will see this conflict because we are seeing only from one side, not from the holistic view. That's why I keep saying Mahabharata is unbelievable. Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan, beautiful book. There are many things which you think is not correct. That is because the whole perspective, objective and scope is not understood. So, dharma is not one. That is swabhavam. Dharma is swabhavam actually. What is your dharma, Arjuna? Not think about the enemy and they are the relative. And when they come to war field, there is no relative. There is only enemy. You have one side, there is another side. You have to fight. That is your dharma. Got it? So, it is not that Krishna do not have anybody who is on the other side who is his favorite people. He has got favorite people on both sides. But as a dharmic person, for the war, It is entirely different from what is different. That is why after the Mahabharata war, when Dharmaputra went and asked Krishna, he said, what you have done is wrong. No escape. You have to suffer all that punishments what you get because you are the reason for all this. How to get rid of this? What is the objective? The objective is to run away into the forest to do penance as an individual. Then what you have done is wrong. But are you going to rule this country to prevail, looking after the people, giving them the best kingdom? As a king, you are going to rule the country. What you have done is not Papa. Because you killed wrong people. But only if you become a king, that is justified. If you are not a king and you are an individual, what you have done is wrong. So, not while doing action, not before doing action. After that, what do you do? That's why I said objective and scope. If that is understood, Mahabharata, you will see no contradiction, no adharma, everything is perfect to that. See, the beauty of Mahabharata is all the questions what is to be asked by anybody like Dr. Jayanti, after 5,000 years, also is answered there. So don't read just that part. If you are reading Mahabharata, you should also read the context in which Charvaka went and asked Dharmaputra. Already Charvaka asked, you are not a Dharmaputra. What happened? You cannot be called as Dharmaputra. Today you cannot question the mantri or the rulers or the king. But those days, the critics like Charvaka who criticized the king is also given the Rishi Padavi. Charvaka is one of the greatest Rishi Padavi. Just because he was a critic. That's why even a critic is given award for being a good critic. Correct? The good critics are also considered as great writers today. So, if there is a creative activity you have, the opposition leader is also equivalent to a minister. Opposition leader is not having no role in the government. Opposition role is also equivalent to a minister's role. Why we have given that? Because they are all Charvakas. Their job is to find fault with the government. So Charvakas are people who are supposed to find fault with Dharmaputra to ask questions so that Dharmaputra will explain what I have done is correct. So there is a beautiful explanation given and everyone has got a role. Why only now when you talk about Sanjaya, Sanjaya is a great knowledgeable person. He was one of the wisdom person. Though he was in the other side. You will not see any fault with Sanjaya. Right? So you will see lot of people in the Duryodhana side. There are a lot of wrong things. Even Ravana. Ravana is a high meditative master. If at all you want to call, he is a devotee of Shiva. If somebody has to learn how to do samadhi, full bhakti, probably Ravana is a much better bhakta than most of the other people. Right? So we say bhakti is not the criteria, but Rama's bhakti is to do good things for people, everybody in the world. But your bhakti is only to get some benefit for some people who are around you, then that bhakti is not a good bhakti. That is the message which gives. So it is not for what purpose you do it. That is more important. So bhakti is not important if you are not using it for a better purpose for the common application. Here, just because our great grandfather, he has taken an oath that I will be with you, with the king, whoever is the king. If Pandavas were king, Bhishma Pitamaha would have been with the Pandavas. He is like an advisor to the king. So he cannot say against the wish of the kingdom, he cannot act. That was his oath. Because he is not a ruler, he is only an advisor. And he is the grandfather for most of them. So both, what is that I have done as my job is what is important. So there your professional dharma is what is more important than most of the other dharmas. So as a warrior, your professional dharma is to fight. So it is dharmic. That's why I said you should look at the book called Mahabharata is unbelievable. There are a lot of questions asked like this, and all of them are justified at the end. The first question, it's not correct. Shantanu, how can you have a mother, Ganga, who is killing all children? Ask question. How can a mother kill their own children? It's a big question. So the answer is given there. So there are so many such questions asked, and to understand that these are all to send a message. It is not to describe a historical event happened. It is for generations to come to interpret and understand and take some message in day-to-day life. That is why whatever happens in the world, whatever is going to happen in the world, whatever happened in the world, everything is there inside. Every question is also there. You cannot ask a question which is not there in Mahabharata and don't think invent a new question and say I invented a question. If I cannot answer, that means I have not read it. If I think that it's a different question which is never answered, I have not read Mahabharata. That's what it says. So you'll have to go through that different versions, read. That's the only thing.
Thank you, sir.
It's a very common question. Many people have this doubt.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
And Krishna has definitely have attachment to Arjuna. Nothing wrong. So I kept on telling in Bhagavad Gita while saying the usage of word Bhagavad Gita prescribes non-attachment is a totally wrong. I take that challenge from anybody in the world who follows any people who is having a big number of people around them and they say Bhagavad Gita says non-attachment. Wrong. If there is no attachment, I will not be here to give answer to Jayanti. But I don't have a bondage with you. Probably our usage of English has its own limitations. Bandhanam is entirely different from relationship. I love somebody. That doesn't mean I am not having any compassion. I don't have a relationship. I don't understand you. I don't talk to you. Is not correct. Bondage means, oh, without you, nothing will happen to me. That is bondage. Bandhanam. Tied up. If I don't see that person in my class, oh, my class is waste. Nothing comes from me. If that person is not with me, nothing works. That is called a bandhan. That is wrong. So, emotional feeling like attachment. That's why Bhagavan also doesn't say Sthitaprajna is not having feeling. He says, Dukkheshu anidiknamana sukheshu vikataspраha vida raga bhaya krodha. Everything has to be there. Otherwise, what is human being? How can you have love when you don't have hatred? How can you stay without fighting? All that is part of world. But don't keep it in mind and then continue. That's only, you have to settle it. Yeah. Otherwise, ashochya word should not be used. He knows shocham is there. Only when shocham is there, ashochya comes. Ma shucha, don't be sad. What is Bhagavad Gita? Ashochya. Ashochya ananya shochastvam. Last word is ma shucha. Why do you say that no shucha? Don't be sad, don't be sad, don't be sad. Because everybody knows there is sadness around us. So it's part of this world.
Sir, my another question comes to my mind. Do you think that God has the same mind, body, and the soul which the human beings have, or it's something different?
We have a great poet from Kerala who says, God is such a beautiful concept. He don't understand hungry because he never felt hunger. Because the time he feels hungry, he is fed by himself. Right? He cannot understand somebody's cry, problems, pain, because he never feels pain. See, you see, God is depicted in such a fashion, he has got light spreading all throughout his body, right? So we keep saying, we have our own shadow to help us when we don't have anybody else. God is such a person who doesn't have shadow also. See, the last case, who is supporting us, we keep saying, if nobody else is there, my own shadow is there. See, what is poor, see, he can't even have the, when you don't feel hungry, anything you eat, you can't feel the taste. So God doesn't have taste at all. We keep saying when you are feeling hungry, when you eat something, you know the taste. How water is so sweet when you feel so thirsty. God doesn't know the taste. Right? See, Purna Kaman. Purna Kaman means what? Every desire is fulfilled before it comes to thought. Therefore, what he has done? We have Rama Krishna taken the form of God to realize that, so that he knows the problems of the world. That is why it is called Avataram. So we have God who came into the form of a human being to realize the problems of this world. Got it? So whomever we are explaining in Purana Itihasa, the basic Sankalpa, the Sankalpa has been put into the form of a person who is living around us so that they have the realization. So it is both. The first part when I explained, I said it is not there. Second part, I explained it is not good enough because we cannot think of a God who doesn't understand desire because he doesn't have desire. This logical question will come. To satisfy that only, God has come in front of us, appeared in front of us, lived in front of us in different situations and different forms. That's why Bhagavan says, whenever it is required, yata yata hi dharmasya, whenever there is a problem in dharma, I will appear in front of you in the form it has to come. So let us hope. So he explained that. Clearly he explained.
But you said that God doesn't always taste.
Yeah.
Then if that is the case, why do we offer Krishna, Bal Gopal,
What do you offer?
Makhan and
Yeah, what do you offer?
Makhan and
Yeah.
Makhan chor unko bola jata hai
Yeah,
because
that-
he likes Makhan.
Yeah, that is what. Who said he likes it? See, assume that I come to Jayanti's house. Jayanti doesn't know what is my taste. So whatever Dr. Jayanti likes and she thinks that is the most precious food, that is what you will prepare. And you will prepare nice ghee and made out of beautiful sweet. But Dr. Jayanti doesn't know that Dr. TPS like chicken biryani only. Understood? But if I go to definitely to somebody else, they will prepare chicken biryani thinking Dr. TPS likes chicken biryani because for them chicken biryani is the most. See what we have when you go to Gujarat, jalebi. When you go to Andhra, Tirupati, they will give you laddu. These are all different forms of God only. Don't tell only ghee and butter is given to God. It all depends on the butter is given not to the big God when he has grown up. When he was a small child, only butter and ghee. That we also give to our young children when they are young. Don't tell for Radha Krishna you will feed. Only baby Krishna you will feed makhan. Because that formed during that time. Correct? When he has grown, probably in the Delhi, when you have got a Radha Krishna, a teenage Krishna, I assume that your deity is teenage Krishna. You have to give Pani Puri. Correct? Why not? You have to give Coca-Cola. I said if I start a temple, what I will do is instead of all these jaggery, all that different variety of offering, I will have a temple in which people can offer pizza, cutlet, different cool drinks, everything can be offered. I don't think during that time pizza was not there, therefore there was no offering of pizza. Any teenager today would have offered pizza. You see the tribal people, what do they offer to God? I am from a place in Kerala called Kannur, where Sheila is there. We have temple in which chicken is given offered to God. You go to northeast in Assam, fish is offered, Bengal fish is offered. So don't tell this is what God likes. God likes, in Karnataka they will give you yellow rice, but you cannot give yellow rice in Kerala. That is not standard for Kerala people. For Kerala people it is milk, no, you want to make a porridge out of the sweet milk porridge, payasam. And if assume that my birthday, I will not offer milk porridge because I like jaggery. So I will tell my mother, offer only jaggery. Why? because I like it. It is not that God likes it. Right? Understood? So I have a poetry in one of my poem. It says, January 1st, everybody goes to temple because they want a new start. And poor God gets too much of food and he gets fed up. And next day, January 2nd, nobody goes there and he feels hungry also. Does it mean January 1st he feels more hungry, everybody goes? These are all called rituals. There is something called Anushtanam and Acharam. Many people use this word in tandem without understanding the meaning. Anushtanam is giving food. Acharam is what do I give? You need lunch, that is Anushtanam. What do you eat for lunch is an Acharam. The North Indian people, chapati. For South Indian people, maybe rice. For me, it is gruel, kanji. So it all depends on what is that you like. God is also like that because it is only sankalpa. What is inside you, the manifestation is what is called God. So what you like is what you offer. Nothing like that. So there is a Manasa Puja. I teach Manasa Puja. I went to Muscat and many people wanted to learn puja, how to do offerings and all that. So whatever happens in a temple, I don't want a coconut, I don't want flower. Why do you pluck a flower and then waste? Actually, this is not naturally. I am not even growing. I am stealing. And you cannot get in Muscat, you want 200 people to learn puja. How many kgs of flower you want? I am sure in the market, price will increase. And how do they pack? If you look at how the flower is packed in market, you will never buy and offer to God. Right? So what did I say? You imagine there is a lamp. You imagine the oil is kept. You imagine there is a wick. You imagine I am giving flowering. That's good enough. Your imagination is more important. Sankalpa is more important than the item which you offer. Bhagavan himself said, Pushpam, Phalam, Toyam. You give whatever you want, doesn't matter. Why do you want a beautiful flower? Nothing like that. One patram is good enough. One leaf is good enough. Even if that is not there, my sankalpa is more important. Right? That's what is to be done.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
So, Guruji, I just want to make a reference something about it, about the Bhagavad Gita.
Yeah.
In the modern times, we are thinking in the way that we have learned in the school.
Yeah.
But I was just reading an article recently about the system of education India had before it became a colony of England.
Yeah.
The schools, India was one of the country where they have more schools than any other country.
Yeah.
England had only a few schools, but India had about hundreds and hundreds of schools.
Yeah.
And the teaching method that was used there was like the ancient India.
Yeah.
And a comparison was being made that that what was being taught in the schools at that time, now the modern education is trying to teach, like aerospace studies, like physics and everything. But in that time, that was being taught in Sanskrit or in other languages in the different parts of the world.
Yeah.
Maybe because of that, mixed values of education makes us think a bit differently, as it should have been like in ancient India. So maybe that's why the question people are asking, why is this so? Why is it? How can it be possible? As you mentioned earlier about the historical aspect of the Kurukshetra, say it is a very small, but 60 or 600 kilometers by 600 kilometers or something like that. But at that time was Mahabharata was being fought. That was Greater India, which comprised, like Pakistan, which comprised Afghanistan, which comprised part of Vietnam and other countries, neighboring countries. As you will find that historical events, when you go to Indonesia, you have got so many nice Buddhist temples there. Then you have got a great murti of Lord Vishnu lying, and resting in there. So I think these are things that we have to consider while reading the Bhagavad Gita. As you mentioned it, that Bhagavad Gita cannot be read separately from Mahabharata. Mahabharata, it gives you the environment in which the Bhagavad Gita came. So maybe all this in the holistic approach, we have to take and read Bhagavad Gita and understand consequently understand in the circumstances, in the environment and the problems that was arising there and everything. Like Dr. Jayanti just pointed out about the emotions. The emotions were there, but we have to see how the emotions came and what were the causes of the emotions. Like Dhritarashtra was attached because it was his son. Normally a father will be attached to his son and he would like to have the son get all the powers and everything like that. So these are things that we have to consider while reading Bhagavad Gita, trying to understand and maybe then translate it in our day-to-day life and to see how it can be applicable. The other day we had a meeting about the anger, how we can control the anger. But here also in Bhagavad Gita we see there are certain verses that talks how you can try to use the anger in a positive way and also to control your anger so that you are not going to cause harm to others. Because Bhagavad Gita is mainly, you have to see the benefit of all at large than the personal benefit of the person. This is only I wanted to mention today.
What Kishorji told is exactly correct. And we look at what is the reason. There was Agni Vidya, Vayu Vidya, Jala Vidya, all individual Vidyas based on all the Panchabhutas. Prithvi Vidya, Surya Vidya, Chandra Vidya, Megha Vidya, Gham Vidya. Gham Vidya is about space.
Yeah.
Din or Rat Vidya. Right? So Srishti Vidya, Bhugola Vidya. Every part of knowledge was there. But if you look at it, different people who are all really require this has to go there, stay with the Guru, study this for some time, go to the next Guru. But today we have only supermarket. In supermarket we don't have items which are produced and given. Somebody produces somewhere, somebody is selling it. So today we don't have schools and colleges. So don't compare supermarket with the normal. No, it's all packed and given. That food is only being provided. So today's teachers are only supermarket sellers. They don't have any idea about how is it being prepared, where is it being generated, what are the ingredients inside. So I keep saying they are just merchants, selling people. So you cannot compare. So knowledge is not diluted. What is diluted? The mix in which it is preserved and then kept. And the mix in which it is being supplied, which is not originally what people can see and visualize and feel and understand. This is where the dilution happened. Got it? That is why the education system has gone bad. But we cannot say it is gone bad, because why supermarkets are there from the village you don't see, but you see because everybody is in a hurry. You cannot buy items, vegetables and then every item and then go and cook and eat. You need to have ready-built takeaway fast. And that is good enough for you to. That is why people have changed over a period of time because of population, because of fastness in life. Traditionally, people had a long time. You don't require, everybody need not work at home. So I keep saying my father was much more a brighter person, much more blessed person. He was much better than me. My children are much better than me because they lived in this world where what they started living itself is in the advanced world. Our generation probably have a problem, but we are in the transition stage. Neither we have a contact and connections there or happy there. Neither we are happy with this. So this transition problem is there. But I am sure in the next generation, they will understand all this. They will have some fortune of learning that. Otherwise, people will not even talk about this. Why do we keep talking about this today and why Bhagavad Gita is being taught like this? I am not talking about today. For last 1972 probably until now, all these education system were discussing such things and thinking about this has happened more than what would have happened in the early 1900s. So people are thinking, people are looking at, now we are talking about natural food, we are talking about no pollution in the world. Without all that thought, we polluted a lot. But people will start reverting back, understanding there is some problem, it is not correct. Right? So sometime what we did was in the Treta Yuga, probably in Krita Yuga, Satya Yuga, no rituals, no pujas, nothing was there. It was only in their brain and the Sankalpa was there. But when we had an establishment, we could not do yaga, yatna. We replaced it by temples. When people could not go to temple, they started making temples in their own house, puja rooms. Otherwise, I don't think traditionally puja rooms were very active like this. We have only one lamp, you keep it there and put it inside, finished. No much big decoration, no big photos. Now the richer and richer you become, they dedicated to puja room, which is having look of a temple. They don't even call puja room, they call it as temple now. Temple inside my house. Correct? In traditionally you can see in old houses there will be a small stand in which one lamp will be there. That is temple for them. But today we dedicated a room because we become more and more greater. So this change will happen. So connecting to what Jayanti said, we don't require flowers. There is a great saying, Ahimsa Prathamam Pushpam. What is the first flower you have to offer to God, you know? Ahimsa Prathamam Pushpam. Pushpam Indriya Nigraham. The first one is non-violence. My first flower which I have to offer to God is Ahimsa. Second one is Pushpam Indriya Nigrahanam. My Indriyas have to be under control. Okay, so there are different, the flower doesn't mean, Pushpam doesn't mean flower. The Pushpam means my offering. The other day I was talking to my student, and she was asking Shabdam. The Shabdam doesn't mean the sound. Today we know Shabdam means sound. Shabdam is not sound. Shabdam means word. Shabda Taravali, Shabda Kosham. The meaning is entirely different. So when we translate this into English, we have a big problem. That is where we make this problem. Shanti Pushpam, Tapo Pushpam, Snanam Pushpam. Everything can be Pushpam for you. Everything is Vishnu Preeti Haram. Everything is Satyam. Satyam is also one Pushpam. I can offer Satyam. How do you make Satya Pushpam? Don't ask this. Shanti Pushpam. Right? So, offering, because they used the word Pushpam, 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 and Pushpam is flower for me, they thought this is what is to be given. Not required. Okay. So, education also, what was kept in concept has become in textbook, and we want only that. Combinations of schools came. Now specializations came, and then they started separating all the subjects. Chemistry separate, physics separate, mathematics separate, biology separate. Only people have to learn chemistry, physics, biology. Now what has happened? Interdisciplinary courses. They realized one subject if you learn, that is not good enough. You have to club subjects and learn together. Correct? So when we thought specialization is good enough, that was for some time. When we found that will not work in this world, interdisciplinary. You have to learn biology and technology. So biotechnology came. Otherwise traditionally 1970s, 1950s, biology separate, technology separate. So it is all, some point of time we keep refreshing, changing, new path will come. The panic is not required, but we need a thorough change in the teacher's attitude. They teach many things without understanding the objective and scope. Anything to be done with objective and scope. If objective and scope is not, today I had a long discussion with somebody who was talking about education, what changed, new system of schools. I said no. The existing system, let us change the teachers slightly. Otherwise, new system also you will get same teachers. It will not work. Teachers needs to understand the objective and scope. It has become totally polluted, politicized. They are always looking like this. Exam is their syllabus completion, examination, writing work. Somehow send them from one class to, like when some diseased people come, if I cannot treat, change them to, send them to specialized people, right? That's what MBBS normal doctors will do. So teachers have become like that. I cannot treat you what you should do, go for specialization. So 10th grade, they are pushed into plus 1, plus 2, plus 1, plus 2, they are pushed into different compartments. So I keep saying that is what the problem is.
Sir,
Yeah.
sir, you spoke about education policy.
Yeah.
You spoke about education policy, but how to bring that change? How to go about that? Because suppose take for the example, I studied philosophy in my graduation from the textbook, and there are not many textbooks which were suggested by the teachers. Then I came to post graduation, the textbook which was prescribed by the teachers, we also read that. Then again, long journey from the education, but then also I felt incomplete because I do not know myself the many of the original text which I am teaching. But I'm teaching that, reading from the translation and whatever, like, so I'm thinking that I'm doing justice to the students, but I feel in myself many times incomplete, manywhere when it comes to the teaching the Indian text. Like, so how to fill that gap, and who is a good teacher? Suppose I'm looking for a good teacher, and how to go about that. So that is a question many times is something I want to know from Sankhya Karika or Tarka Sangra or Vedant Paribhasa or Mool Madhyamik Karika. Like all, I learned little bit whatever I have received Bhagavad Gita from you. But how to go about that? How to get a good teachers are good. I just don't want to make any judgmental statement. But how to go about as you said that deeper knowledge, or who can impart the knowledge looking for any kind of marketization or any kind of ego satisfaction or something a true learning.
I don't think this is the purview of Bhagavad Gita, but this is in the purview of Bhagavad Gita because we have a good student like Arjuna who asked a lot of questions and Krishna could give a lot of answers. So if at all you want to be a good teacher, don't speak without questions. The first chapter Krishna kept quiet. How many teachers will keep quiet in the first class? You will start blah 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 and you don't allow anybody to ask questions. You just allow students to ask questions. That's good enough. See, the essence of Bhagavad Gita for a teacher to understand is, unless there is a question, you don't have to teach. That's the first lesson. There is no point in learning Bhagavad Gita if you don't understand this concept. So it is not learning. As a teacher, for preparation of examination, even if you don't teach, children will pass examination much better probably than what you are doing. I'll tell you, I taught environment science in engineering college. I used to prepare PowerPoint presentation as per the syllabus and post it onto my blog. Those times blog was more famous. So I used to post and then say, you look at the blog and study everything and come to my class and ask questions. Why should I look at the PowerPoint and read, which most of the stupid teachers do in this world? Right? They can also read a textbook. Their English is much better than my English sometimes because they took birth in the English world. So they took birth in the digital world. They know how to Google and then find things. There is a beautiful, one of the best philosophy teachers whose lecture, I also keep attending world philosophy best teachers classes. There is a beautiful examination. Questions are asked by teachers than giving answers. And the question was, a train driver is driving train. And he found that 3 people are standing on the rail. He has to apply brake so that these 3 people can escape. But if he apply brake, definitely one compartment will dash with the other compartment. There can be 20 people getting injury. Maybe somebody will die also. And assume that he has to escape, he has to jump out. So that let the train go, let that go to... How do you take a decision. This is a high philosophical answer. This is how I have seen world professors taking class. You tell me which textbook, which philosophy teachers will ask this question in India. How many philosophy teachers in India will look at such references from? No, I am not asking about Tarkashastram traditional. Modern world also such questions are to be answered by people. Got it? So there are lot of knowledge available. So what Bhagavad Gita or what Ramayana, what our Bharatiya Shastra tell us, you have to be a constant learner. You should keep on asking questions. Don't think Arjuna was a small boy and Krishna was a teacher. They were 65 and 83 years old. That is the age in which they started asking this question. So definitely at that age also, if he is ready to listen to Bhagavad Gita, why not teachers in this world can learn? See, what I must have taught more than 1 million of teachers in this world. But I have not seen, like Dr. Jayanti is asking few questions. Rarely we see. If I want, I can count 100 teachers would have asked questions. That's it. Otherwise, they don't have questions at all. So I keep saying, Bhagavad Gita is there not because of Krishna. Bhagavad Gita is there because of Arjuna. If Arjuna had no question, no Bhagavad Gita. So every class, don't speak and blah 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 and end. If your class have to be effective and effective, the syllabus is there with the students. You tell them, look at the syllabus, learn everything and come to my class, ask questions. You may be an utter failure to begin with. But I'll tell you, after a few years, you will become the most wanted teacher in your subject. This is what I do. This is what I did. I've got a student day after tomorrow. She wanted to learn Hindi. I told her, you take a syllabus, 1 chapter from your book, and then come back to me on Monday or Tuesday. Why not today, Sunday? I was busy, but still I could have given 1 hour. I don't want. I want her to spend a sufficient time and come back with a lot of questions. I am sure when they come back with a lot of questions, I don't even have to teach. They know already. Probably they know much better than me. This is what I do. We have a professor in the Lincoln University who is Chinmaya Swami's cousin brother. He keeps telling the abroad, how do their teachers can always give marks to students even if they don't conduct examination. So Dr. Jayanti comes and I am the teacher, you are the student. You come and says, and I will tell you, don't trouble me, don't ask me to prepare a question paper, I have to give it to you, you have to write, then I have to evaluate, I will give you 50%, go. Dr. Jayanti says, no, if I write examination, I will get 60%. And the professor says, are you 100% you will get a 60% mark? Okay, then take 60% and go. But not today. Tomorrow you come back. I will decide whether I have to give an exam or not. Tomorrow you come. When you are coming tomorrow, I am saying, take 60%, don't write exam. But do you think the student did not study anything for the 1 day, 1 night? If you are a good student, you would have prepared. Correct? And the student says, no 60%. You give me 70%, then no exam. I know 70% of the subject. Then the teacher asked, yesterday you said, that was yesterday. I got 1 more day to prepare, so I studied more. But then the professor said, I am going to give a toughest examination. I will make you to fail. Do you want to take 60% and go, or you want to take examination tomorrow? The student says, you give the toughest exam. I will take examination tomorrow. That is what a student is. How many such students you have? I have got such students.
Yeah.
I have got such students. They will beg for exams. How many such students are there? See, when you get to become sick, the blood test, all the tests which you do in the pathology, it is the patient's requirement so that the doctor can analyze perfectly. Test means, examination means, my ability, my capacity should be understood. So as a graduate student, my capacity is not understood in philosophy. Do you think tomorrow I can become a master of philosophy? See, when I say I am a master of mathematics, DrTPS is a master of mathematics. You know how much courage I have when I say this? You ask me all the questions what I studied maybe 30 years back in my MSc, even today I can answer it. If you cannot say, you cannot be called as master of that subject. See, your mastery should be real pakka. How do you become a pakka real master? Only when you create that base, you study well and learn, analyze it internally and then understand the subject. So examination should be not copying the same question and same karika, same, no, it should be a lot of assignments which really trigger you to think. But we are not able to create good questions. Teachers give questions, they will give answer. And same thing is copied and written, they are good students. That has become the order of the day. So you have a system, you cannot jump out of the system. But within the system also, you can be a great teacher. I worked in many engineering colleges. I taught many different subjects. Whenever I go, I take my own style of teaching. But I am sure I can find some good students. They will improve. They will understand, oh, this is how it is. That's why sometimes Jayanti knows when I speak to some people, they will say, how courageous you are speaking. I am courageous. Because I understand the subject. What I understood is what I am saying, not what I learned. There is a difference between learning and understanding. You have to understand. It has to be. That is why we have and, where, when, what, why, how. Correct?
Yeah.
Viveka, Vivechana, Buddhi. Buddhi is not enough. Knowledge is not enough. That knowledge should be supplied to how many places Bhagavad Gita would have been spoke. But all the time it is entirely different because we keep on inventing new. Otherwise, I have got a PowerPoint for every chapter, every chanting I can hear. I can look at the book and then speak, but it's not required, right? It has to come, internalize yourself, and that is what is experience. So you gain experience not by teaching same subject, same style for 10 years. It is not 10 years experience. It is only 1 multiply. Same thing when you do many times, it is called multiplication. Different things are added together. You cannot multiply different things. Correct? So if same style you are teaching, you have only 1 year experience. You do it differently, 30 years, then you have 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 30. It will become too large number. So you have to increase all the time. That's what is required. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Darshan.
Even today, I listen to most of the general lectures, either philosophy from international universities. How do they take class? How is the beginning class? What do they speak? How do they present? All that I learn. I keep on investing a lot of time on different places. Love for physics, beautiful. Walter's lecture. I have not seen a lecturer like Walter's lecture in physics. If somebody has to learn physics, how to teach in classroom, look at Walter. His book is called Love for Physics. I keep saying every teacher in this world has to at least listen to his lecture once. Then I am sure they will not leave him. Keep on continuously. There are a lot of teachers like that. And I was blessed. Yesterday also I spoke to my science teacher who taught me science, who did not had too many lectures but 1 or 2 lectures. He is almost 70 years old. I spoke to him yesterday also almost half an hour. And my Malayalam teacher who taught me language, I spoke to him yesterday. Almost half an hour we had a dialogue and discussion. No? This is what the passion is. It is not that I have not seen many teachers after that. But I rarely see few good teachers with whom you get connected saying they are entirely different. That is required. Yeah.
Namaste.
Namaste, Gita.
I have a question, and that is, what made Lord Krishna to show his Vishwarupa to Arjuna?
That is because Arjuna asked. Arjuna was not convinced. Arjuna was not very happy hearing all this, the Dhyanam or Samadhi, Brahma Vidya, everything is told. But still there is a doubt in him. Hey, he is my close friend. He is not Bhagavan. Show me that. It is not first time. He has shown many people earlier also. To his own mother he has shown. When he was not listening to his mother, he said the whole world is inside my mouth, and opened the mouth and then shown the whole universe in his mouth. So many times he has shown. So Arjuna was not convinced. Therefore he has shown, I have got this ability. Whomever you think. He earlier himself he said, whichever god you do puja, everything will come to me. But he has to show every god is inside me. Every asura is also inside him. Every creature is inside him. Every forest which you think is inside him. Every Veda is inside me. So I am saying you. See, some teachers will open up their biodata and tell I am so and so, I am so and so, I am so and so. When you have to tell, the students are not convinced, their attention is less. So you will have to say. That is why introduction is given generally. If all students are good, you don't require introduction at all. So traditionally, introduction was not there. They were colleagues. So Arjuna, it is not that Arjuna did not understand. If Arjuna did not understand how Arjuna selected only Krishna, when Krishna said, I am not going to take weapon, all my soldiers are for Duryodhana. Everything was, you take, I don't want, I want only Krishna. So he knows Krishna has got some great ability. But he never knew that this great thing. And it is not for Arjuna himself probably. Vyasa would have thought the whole world has to see the real form. That time when it was shown to mother, such an explanation was not there. So somewhere in Mahabharata you have to explain Krishna had this great ability. That is why it would have been explained here. Because every poet uses the right place to explain. Because they are also anchoring person, right? They are the people who are running the show. So they have to show. I am not talking about a normal person. I am talking about a great personality. That is why it would have been. Many poets would have been had these sort of thinking process and analysis. We have a beautiful poet in Kerala who is a Muslim. He says Krishna is black. That is why a lot of ladies are behind him. You know why? The Krishna skin was almost like a kajal. The Krishna skin was almost like a kajal. So every ladies used to go and then touch the skin and then apply kajal. That is why ladies go behind. So it's all the imagination of the poet, the way in which it is presented. So the Vishwarupam itself is an imagination of the poet probably. Yes, we should think like that only.
Thank you.
Yeah. Because nobody could see universe. Was there a universe seen by somebody else in the way today we are able to see from satellite or maybe some planetary system explanation was not there. But that imagination was there in some poet, right? Milky Way galaxy, all that was there. That's all imagination. So Sankalpa, the whole thing is called the Sankalpa. But Sankalpa is not understood, you have to show in form. So Sankalpa is depicted in the form. That is what is Vishwarupa Darshanam.
In Bhagavad Gita also you find that if you take Krishna as a main character, and also you find it allows you to have a comparative analysis of different kinds of love, L-O-V, love, that mother, some people worship him as a son, okay, Balya Krishna jo bolte. So, and some people treat like Krishna and Radha, that is a different kind of love. And Krishna and Meera, that is another kind of love. So, and Krishna and Yasoda, that is another kind of love. Krishna and Draupadi, that is another kind of love. Then Krishna and her mother, I just forgot the name.
See, the bhakti itself,
Yes.
the bhakti bhavam is, for Bhishma it is Shandam. For Hanuman it is Dasyam. Servant. Hanuman is always like a servant. Bhishma is, he becomes silent, peaceful, Shandam. And Arjuna it is companionship, Sakhyam. And Yashoda it is Vatsalyam. The love towards the mother, love towards that. For anybody who is a lover is madhuryam, the beauty, the sweetness of love. For Radha, Meera, Jayadeva, all of them had that sort of a love. That is called madhuryam. That is enjoyment, that point of time. Parikshit also had a love, but his love was for hearing the story. His love is called a Sravana Sneha. Oh, I want to hear the story. He is not asking to, I want to see the God. No, it was not there. And some people have kirtana. They love God by chanting lot of mantras, slokas, praising them. Right? Somebody want only to think about God. They may not react. No words will come out. That's called smaranam. And some people, like what you said earlier, I want to give archana. Archana is also one form of love. So which form you want to give? And somebody don't even do that. They do only Sashtanga Namaskara, Vandana. Right? And what do somebody do? They clean the temple. They do Padaseva. Cleaning the temple is one of the greatest bhakti. How many people will clean the temple? Assume you really love somebody. The place where they are living, you have a responsibility to clean it, right? That is how you show love. When you go to your grandfather's house, you go to parents' house, what do? You make them clean. Your environment need to be clean. And some people, what do? They devote themselves to God. Atma Nivedanam. Don't give flower and all that. You give yourself. Actually, the Sashtanga Pranam itself is that all my thoughts will be as you are walking. I give my head to your feet. That's what it says. I don't have any other thought process, only this. So bhakti can be in different bhavas. So there are a lot of examples. Which is good? Doesn't matter. What form it is good? Depends on. Okay. So these are all there. Nothing is, but it is not part of Bhagavad Gita. It is not part of Mahabharata. It is part of Bhagavatam. Got it? Bhagavatam is the life story of Krishna. How do you make bhakti? So in Bhagavatam, you will see lot of characters and you see each one of them show their love in different style. They are given as examples for all of us to learn. All these are good. But what we do today, we are confused. So what do? We do many things parallelly, but we don't do it completely. We do Sashtanga Pranamam, then putting your head onto the Guru's feet. But we have no faith. Tomorrow also we do it. Only once you do it, good enough. My Guru told me, you do only once. That's good enough. If you have a doubt, do it second time. Why are you learning every time? Because you have a doubt. Then your thoughts have to be there. That's a different matter. Got it? So it all depends. I am not a person who goes to temple and offer something. I have never given banana to God. I have not given banana to any other, or Sharkara or I must have given when I was a young boy. After that, when my maturity came, I started thinking about this. I realized this is not what is to be done by me. So my seva is teaching about, understanding, learning, spreading that knowledge. So your bhakti has to go into different level. Bhagavan always believes you have to learn. Otherwise, the jnanam need not be there, karma need not be there. Bhakti only would have been enough. But he kept most important thing. I have bhakti. I have bhakti to those people who ask me question. Those people who want to listen to me. I have bhakti to them. And I am serving them. And that service is analyze it and then take my interpretation, answer those questions. That is what I do. So what happens is most of the people become blind. That blindness is problem. When you have blind, you want to copy from somewhere and then post it to somebody else and saying that I know this subject. See, if you cannot treat somebody, what you should do? You should tell that to this person. I remember somebody asked Jayanti DrTPS number. You gave. Correct. If Dr. Jayanti is so sincere, what you will do? You will also mention and send me a message. So and so person asked this, I am giving it. Got it? So this referencing is what is required. We don't do that. We believe, I know I can do it. There are many things which we can contribute to each other. That is what is most essential. If that is not there, what we do is we limit ourselves with my view. I don't learn anything new. We need to learn. This is what the problem with some people in some ashrams. They only follow that ashram. Right? I am not having any bondage with any ashram. I learn from everybody. I've got friends from every group of people, but I am not a subscriber of any of them. Because I am an open learner. I want to learn many things from different people, hear them, and if it is worth, I will follow. If it is not worth, I may also scold them. That's a different matter. Because I don't have a bondage. Therefore, I am not a marketing person. I am a learner. You have to be a learner. The other day, I was traveling with somebody. They said, I don't like that student was a philosophy student. And first reference was, I don't like Mahatma Gandhi, so I don't read him. I said, you should read and then don't like him. See, the first itself you say, I don't like. Then your reading will not happen. So first what is surrender? First believe. Then prove that somebody is wrong. That is what is essential. That is why Bhagavad Gita believes Bhakti is essential, but Bhakti is not good enough. You should have Sankhya, logic, analyze, think, ask questions. Then convince yourself that this is not correct, this is wrong. Then no problem. So most of the people have got this sort of I belong to this group of people, I don't believe anybody else. And they will tell that is the solution for the world. We have a lot of reservation on such people. You need not be a marketer. Don't say that this person told, therefore it is correct. Yukti yuktam ubadeyam vachanam balakadavi anyatra namavatyajam apyuktam brahmakadavi. Even Brahma comes and says, don't believe without logically asking question and getting convinced. Yukti is more important. That's what the Bharatiya Shastram says. Therefore, you cannot say this person taught me. I also learned from a great master, no better master for teaching silence in India than Swami Rama. In this 20th century. Correct. But then, what he taught, probably I know 1% or 2%. Then, we add many other knowledge together. When I was in America, I used to go, whenever I hear there is some, in India, we have to travel a lot to get to this. In America, every nook and corner, you will see different branches. In same city, you will see at least 10 different varieties of meditation. So I go and attend all of them. I know that it is not, I don't have to learn a new meditation from somebody because I learned from the Himalayan tradition. What else can be better than that? But still we go there to understand what is it happening. As a very good student, I will sit to learn and then come back. Probably, if they become very close to me and they are my close friends, I will tell them what you are doing is not correct, but good enough for your survival. You have a group of people, continue this. I keep saying.
Thank you so much.
Namaste, I have a question.
Yeah.
Is every jiva like the soul, eternal like the ultimate God, like whom we call as Nirguna Brahma? Or is the soul a temporary thing within a cycle?
By birth, all of us have that divinity in us and we are all Nirguna Brahmas. By birth, we are all divine. There is no question at all. But we are living in the world which has got a lot of samsara dosha. Samsara dosha is survival problems are there. Because of the survival problems, we get diluted, we get polluted. And that samsara dosham get closely attached to that from what tradition we come from the forefathers. Whatever I have, by birth I don't have. But I will start imbibing those qualities which my parents had, which my earlier janma, if at all it is there, I imbibe it very fast. Because in this prarabdha karma, when you go to that situation, imbibing becomes so simple. But that imbibing will not happen when you are in a different situation, different environment. So internally, you have 100% divinity. When you become grade 1, grade 2, maybe age 1, age 2, depends on that. Slight variation could be there. You get only 10% divinity and 90% you get polluted. That may continue maybe until some time when you realize that, oh, this is not what I have to do. My samsara dosham I have to change. Still you will be able to clean it maybe 50%, 50%. For some people, they can make it 80%, 20%. That ratio can change. So until the end of your life, how much more and more purification you have, that we call it as realization, that we call it as actualization, that we call it as understanding, consciousness, any name you can give. That doesn't mean, oh, 10 years I did meditation. What meditation? 10 minutes closing your eyes and then controlling your breath is not at all meditation. Because those time also you are looking at watch, it is 10 minutes. Real samadhi, which is translated into meditation, is not what exactly in a regular interval we do. My Guru Swami Rama taught me, any action which you do that devotionally. Krishna also says in that, what is Krishna's meditation? Is he asking Arjuna to close his eyes and do in Padmasana? No, he said your action is your meditation. Devotionally do your karma. Is that better than that somebody has to teach you? So, if I am a person who loves a karma, for DrTPS, learning and teaching is my karma. So, in that karma, I get totally devoted. I am totally involved in that. That is my enjoyment. Then, I will not feel tired. Like a small child, as they play, they don't feel tired. Maybe when they feel tired, they will sleep for long hours also. But they don't feel upset, oh, I slept yesterday and wasted my time. They don't think, because they are naturally in that form. So I am sure the time you speak, the time you play, as a child you enjoy, in the same style, without exertion, without overexcitement, without taking it as a big tension. Can you do it so casually, whatever job you are doing? Are you enjoying it? Are you not succumb to the environment which force you to do something and you are out of that? Then you are in a divine stage. But can you be 100% like that is a big question. No, because still we have prarabdha karma. We added some bondage. We have got some people around us who force us to do something. We are not totally free as a small child would have been. Then that much dilution will be there. So at the time of death, as Bhagavan says, or in Bhagavad Gita says, our belief system says, we don't know whether it is correct or not. We have to believe until we can disprove it. Until the death we continue like that. In the next Janma, some portion of that will be carried forward and then we continue. So it is a cycle which keep cleaning sometime. Maybe sometime your environment, your satsang with whom you are is not that good enough for you to clean it up. You may add a lot of pollution to that. Go back 3 steps. In one Janma you may go 8 steps forward. Another Janma you may go 3 steps backward. Again you will have to continue that. That's what Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita.
So that means soul lives forever.
Yeah, soul is 100% forever. But that not 100% it will continue to become a re-established rebirth will not happen. Some portion of it gets added to that, some portion of that get, because every Janma you have got some addition of, see, when I walk, my mother say you are exactly walking like my father. But whether my father's father was walking like that was a different question. So some quality we imbibe. That is why we say Nyan Padi, Devam Padi. Half is me, half is my Devam. Devam means my father, from whom I got it. Father doesn't mean father alone, father, mother, grandfather, grandmother, that tradition what I got it. Right. So from that what I got can be half of that, half of this. In my Janma I will decide how much I will continue, how much I will shred it, how much I will lose it, how much I will add it to that. So sometimes we have to balance it. So I may add more quality by being with great gurus in my life, which my father would not have done it. My father never had that opportunity to become with great rishis, great gurus, great pandits. I had that opportunity, so I added some value. How much that is gone to my children, I don't know. Because that they are not living with me. They are not having any contact with me. And that putra doesn't mean the people who have given biological birth. Those people who have continuous contact, those people who are being with me to take my that hereditary job which I am doing, how much time you are discussing such things, how much time you are spending with them, how much quality you are imbibing with them. then that quality will come to that person. If some qualities have gone, that is why we say, keep on saying, a horoscope is to be seen, generally we see parents' horoscope. But when you become a Swami or Sannyasi, parents' horoscope is gone because it's another birth. So you will have to take that and get to that quality. So it is not the same continues, the soul continues. The soul can be more and more purified. It can be more and more polluted also sometimes. So your satsang matters. The people with whom you are associated matters. Otherwise, many people don't have that opportunity to have learned something. They don't get to this. Sometimes you get it as some spark. How much you will make it a fire? How much you will transfer it to somebody else? So I keep saying, I am only a trustee of some knowledge which my gurus have given to me. So my job is to transfer to somebody else. That is what I am doing. And you may process it based on your understanding, based on your logic, which your gurus would not have done, but you have that ability to do it. Add it, probably you are polluting. We don't know. We think that we are making it better and better. Maybe we are polluting and wasting it also. God only knows. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
See, Vasavi asked why it is not being taught in classrooms. See, the biggest problem is you want to learn music. I don't think we will ask for this syllabus in the classroom. We will learn it from somebody, right? We want jack music and cinematic dance to be learned. Will you ask that in the school teachers have to teach? We know how to learn it from somebody. And we do a lot of performance there. See, one of the biggest problem is moral values has become a classroom teaching. Most stupidest thing is that waste of time. And you have Mahatma Gandhi had the flag of what? Non-violence. 4 options are given. You have to tick non-violence. And if you tick non-violence, you understood Mahatma Gandhi's non-violence. Just by ticking that, reading Mahatma Gandhi stood for non-violence, did you understand non-violence? This is our moral system, moral teaching, value education. These are all most stupidest thing which we do. Everyone think that if you put in education system, classroom teaching, then you understood. How many students understood real physics? Those they call it as master of physics. How many people understand the subject? I am saying learning is entirely different from understanding. Gita is nothing to be learned. It's waste of time. If somebody is by-hearting Bhagavad Gita, all the slokas and they can non-stop chant that, actually it is waste of time. If you understand the essence, then start learning, there is a meaning. Or you learn it and after some time you at least invest some time to learn it. Analytically look at it, logically look at it. That is more important. So for that we don't have to become that. Probably in Western system, we have got a different credit. Even if you are studying masters in different subjects, you can pick up some subjects of your choice. We can have such choices. India, I don't think those system will come in maybe next 200, 300 years. It will not become possible because we have not understood education, how it has to run. New education policy also cannot make a difference because nothing is changed in new education policy. Though we call it as university system is there where everyone has to learn different subjects, all that needs to be understood very carefully because it has not any of the policies comes for political reasons and administrative reasons. I think there are less takers for that. In the true sense, it may not be there, but you may get certificate. Oh, a Bhagavad Gita expert, like Yogacharya. We see a lot of Yogacharya. I don't think Bhuva was a Yogacharya. I don't think Swami Rama was called himself as a Yogacharya. But whereas we have 1 month course program and then some, I don't know which university, which master can certify and say you are a Yogacharya. What is your mastery to consider somebody as Yogacharya when they have to learn theory, they have to understand that subject. So certification is not what we require. We need a certification sometime in our group of people when we want to recognize somebody. Yeah, they are good. to give something, a recognition, that is good. But don't use it as a certificate for somebody to teach something, because they don't even understand the basics. That's a problem. So academic institutions should not take any of this. It has to come out of that, and there has to be a parallel. Interested people should learn. We don't require everyone to have a certificate on this. We need only maybe if every village has got 10 real people who are practicing yoga, that will have a bigger message than 100 people doing this malpractice of yoga. That's what I believe. Because of this dilution, it has become polluted, so everybody thinks that they know this. That's a problem. I remember one day, midnight, I was in Kannur railway station. So I saw some person who is in a saffron dress. And midnight in Kannur railway station and all, rarely you see somebody there. So I asked him, what are you doing? Then he said, are you not seeing I am in saffron dress? I am a Swamiji. I asked, as a very, very innocent person, I asked him, what do Swamiji do? He said, we teach Bhagavad Gita. Okay, then teach me one sloka in Bhagavad Gita. See, I don't know all that. When he asked me, are you a police fellow? I said, I am a police fellow, tell me the fact. So he was a fisherman in the neighboring Vadagara. When there is no fishing job, he dresses up like this and then he travels around. Then I asked him, why are you in this dress? See, one beauty is when you are in this dress, without begging, people will give money. Number one. Number two, no TT, no ticket examiner will ask a ticket. We have got better consideration. They will not throw us out. See, he is also called a Swami. See the situation of a Himalayan master, Swami Rama's disciple, have to talk to one local fellow. And I asked him, do you have money? He said, I have got 3,000 rupees. How long you are surviving like this? I am here for last 3 months over now. I got another 6,000 rupees. With 9,000 rupees, I can go back. I said, your family? No, I lost all that interest in family and all that because this is much more entertaining. So this has become such a joke. And I am not joking. I had recorded those days. Also, I used to have record and I have recorded dialogue with her. This is what happens. So we are living in a fool's world. No, there is a poet who said, in this world of having no Atmarthada, Atmarthada is you don't have the purity of behaving in the same style what is required. And you become one person with that Atmarthada is a big failure. That is what one of the Kerala poet wrote. But then the recent world, what you have to write is, in this world, my all faults are being exposed by the people and I am not able to stop them. That becomes my problem. Because everybody is like that. You are not also not an exception. So how much you can hide? And that is more important. So if you can hide more, you are more famous. If you are more exposed, then people will scrap you. That has become the order of the day. Good enough, Dilip ji? It's already 9:15. Nice that people are interested. They are asking questions. Some discussions we could make. I always believe we need not teach Bhagavad Gita because there are a lot of YouTube programs, learning explanation, understanding. I told you, Holy Gita. You look at it, beautiful chanting is there and paragraph wise explanation is there. Nice explanation. I don't think you require any other better class. And every language, whichever language you have, there are beautiful Bhagavad Gita. Learning is not a problem. But how do you ask question? How do you discuss? How do you relate to that to your practical life? But then I know that if you tell that, it will end faster. So you need to, this person knows little bit so I can ask question. So probably that is my pretension which I did in the few classes. But there also what we did was half an hour, 1 hour, I think not more than 40 minutes I never spoke. Then we had only discussion. So I enjoyed discussions more than probably explaining the slokas and cutting them, and I learned more probably when I explained slokas, but that was my selfishness. What I did was half an hour was my selfishness, but the rest was for others to ask questions. So I must thank each one of you for being part of such discussions. Lot of questions, probably hundreds of questions were there, and I was so happy that I could edit. So I was listening each one of them again and again. Editing is a big job, so I do that myself, so it takes long time for me to edit. But rarely we found 30 people or 20 people will look at it. That number doesn't matter, but some people comment there, some people share it. I keep saying, if you are slightly concerned about it, sharing is more important. Over a period of time, every class we got some new people. Today we have Shashikant also joined. I know him only yesterday this time. So every time we kept on adding some people. Isabel must have attended maybe few classes, and Queen Elizabeth also joined today. She left because she had a program. She attended 3-4 programs. Some people continued all the time, and that was a great blessing, right? And some people thought my knowledge is less, so refer somebody's and say that this is a better Bhagavad Gita, learn from him, because they are all agents. I wish sometime they copy my Bhagavad Gita and send it to at least 1 or 2 people to listen to them. But I am sure great Swamijis, they don't listen to anybody else, because they think they already know. The biggest problem, my Guru also kept saying, once you think that I don't have to learn from somewhere else, that is one of the biggest problem. I am not like that. I keep listening, though I may not be very happy to listen to them, because most of the time there is nothing new. Because if you don't chant sloka and if you don't refer to the original text, only English blah blah blah, that means you have not learned from Bharatiya Shastra. You have learned only from, copied from somewhere. If at all somebody becomes your master or a teacher, first they should refer to the Sanskrit slokas which are the original text. There can be mistakes. In my chanting also there can be mistakes. When somebody listens, says that, oh, he doesn't know Sanskrit. Possible. Because I kept telling Gita, when she chants Sanskrit, I will ask a question, is it Oriya or Sanskrit? But it is not her problem, that part. But I remember when I chanted few slokas in front of Swami Vedabharati, Rama's disciple. He asked, I love your chanting because Kerala people have got an exact way what Sanskrit is to be. He himself says, as my Guru, he said, my chanting is not as pure as yours. I said, it is not my chanting. I only learned a little bit from my Guru. I have got that tradition. I heard it many times. I chanted in front of him. He used to correct. So that is how we refine. So if at all you listen, see, when I say Holy Gita is good, because that is available and you can hear it. I don't say that is a good chanting because it's an English version of chanting. Somebody says, UK there is a lady, she chants beautifully. Our Yeshudas also chants. But Yeshudas chanting is not Bhagavad Gita. It is music in which he used Bhagavad Gita. So he is not explaining Bhagavad Gita. He is singing Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is not to be sang. It is to be understood. Right? But sometimes, yes, we have to listen to that. It is beautiful to listen. We also appreciate as a music. But learning Bhagavad Gita, no. Singing Bhagavad Gita, no. Chanting Bhagavad Gita, no. Listening Bhagavad Gita, no. Understand Bhagavad Gita. Understanding requires more involvement. Okay. So that is what I tried here, so that some questions will come. In the beginning, I made many people to chant and then send me. And I was so happy. I was so happy. But 1 or 2 people, what they did, they kept the earphone and then spoke, and exactly same style. Then one of the session I asked him, last thing what you chanted, you chant here. God bum. Because they were pretending that they could copy from somewhere. See, don't you think that we know from which place he has copied? So after that, I have not seen his face at all. So there are some people like that. So it was not to test whether you can chant. It is to test whether you have interest in learning. So I was so happy, at least 10 people were genuinely chanting and sending. Many people after that also chanted. When I stopped, don't think that all the people stopped it. There are few people still, they chant and then send me and ask me corrections also they have done. Some people will telephone and say, I will chant, see whether there is an error. They also have done it. Right? I am so happy at least a few people are there, continued and listened. I should thank, I think all of us should together thank Dilip ji. We did all the 22 sessions, only one session I hosted. All the 21 were hosted by Dilip ji. And only one session we lost because that was part of the Hindu activity.
Summit.
Yeah, Hindu summit. But there also we had some Bhagavad Gita taste inside that. That is what we did. So pranams and then namaskaram to all the people who contributed to learning. And I suggest to continue learning. Make that. But there are many more better books. Don't think that Bhagavad Gita is the best in the world. It's like a Bible of Hinduism, many people say. I don't believe that it is like Bible of, because there is nothing one which is good. Maybe even Bhagavatam is not the best. I believe my childhood I learned only Devi Bhagavatam. The Devi Bhagavatam is much bigger and greater and better than all that. That's what I believe. Adi Parashakti, in my book also I mentioned Devi is much better. So Devi Sankalpa I must have given more lectures than Bhagavad Gita. And more discussions also happened. I think Dr. Jayanti's students also came with a lot of questions on Devi Sankalpa, energy concept. And those people, my Dashamahavidya book is read by many people. At least 3 months once I get somebody who really wanted to learn about Devi Sankalpa. And they will start, they are all real devotees. They must have learned from different people and then they found there is a book like this written by DrTPS. They will have a lot of discussions. It's always nice to have somebody reading and coming and having discussions. I enjoy it very much. Okay. So pranams to each one of you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks a lot for Dilip ji for hosting this and making it happen. Otherwise I would not have. Yeah, though I taught 2 times Bhagavad Gita, every time it is something new and for me it is a learning.
So this is a request from my side.
Yeah.
That if you can teach us some Puranas also. That's it.
Yeah, I am not good in any one of this. I only have to learn, invest some time. And in the beginning when I was teaching Bhagavad Gita, probably days together I used to prepare. Maybe Monday to Saturday I prepare for a Sunday class. So if something which I have not taught, and Purana has got a lot of characters coming here and there, it's a huge task. I don't think I am fit for any of this Purana.
Basically, she wants learning to continue.
Eh?
Basically, she wants learning to continue.
Yeah, that will happen. That can be there based on any very, very specific. See, I did a lot of such Shankaracharya's, Matra Shatakam I did. So many small books, because they are the people who took all these lessons and then made in a condensed form like a tablet. See, you don't have to put all the chadi booty and then put them together and make a kashayam. And that we need not to drink with the closing nose and all that, because capsules are available today. So I keep saying Shankaracharya gave a lot of capsules. Right? Madhavacharya gave a lot of capsules. So why even to look at Veda? Upanishads are good enough. So that is how we came to Bhagavad Gita, because Upanishads are also too huge. Therefore, essence of Upanishad is in Bhagavad Gita. Therefore, once you learn Bhagavad Gita, I said you understood. Mahabharata maybe once or twice I must have read, but heard many times, because in childhood and all. In Ramayana we did a lot of research and then a lot of studying, because Kerala has got a very specific blessing. We have got 1 month Ramayana reading as part of our every year ritual, because 1 month in Kerala is totally rain and most of the people cannot go out and do anything else. So it was prescribed for reading Ramayana. 1 month is called Ramayana month. And the reason is, and probably only one king in the world who gave punishment to people who don't read the textbook like Ramayana. He is from Kerala. He said, in my land, if somebody don't read Bhagavad Gita, he will be punished. Can you imagine? So, and everybody did not even had a book. So what they did, 40 families should get together and then somebody should read, others should listen. Can you imagine? And he made many people to sit together and then copy Ramayana. That is how Ramayana was taught. And that is why Eluthachan Ramayana became famous. And many poets in Kerala keep saying, our language is so good because in childhood we were forced to learn Ramayana. Therefore, one whole textbook they by hearted in their life, including Muslim families. And there is a Muslim Ramayana also. Can you imagine? Muslims have written Ramayana in their style. And my teacher yesterday with whom I was talking, he is an expert in Muslim Ramayana. So I used to listen to him. I used to record his talk. There are few people who still knows that Muslim Ramayana. There are different varieties. So which Ramayana, which Purana I should ask you. Muslim Ramayana is in Malayalam. Correct. Vatmiki Ramayana is different. Adhyatma Ramayana is entirely different. What I know is Klipat Ramayana, in which poet is not giving Ramayana. Two birds are giving Ramayana. The birds who was the hunter was killing one bird. The other bird is telling Ramayana. Got it? The beautiful different versions of Ramayana. I wrote one article on Ramayana, a small bit. I think that is there in my blog. I can refer that and give it.
So somebody is asking, are we going to continue the series number 2?
When Dilip ji wrote one, I think we have not written Bhagavad Gita class. He intentionally wrote one. But 2 need not be from me. I am sure if there are better teachers, we should adopt to them also. But I was discussing with Dilip ji and said we will take a break and see. What I am not seeing is, I am seeing people are not referring to somebody else. There may be many people around you who may also like to listen to this. But that enthusiasm of spreading I am not seeing. It is not that, at least that number of clicks on the YouTube, number of people who attend here, number of people who ask questions. If that is there, yeah, we feel more thrilled. Sometimes we feel, no, I will tell you, if I don't send my WhatsApp to all the people about this, that day the number will become less than 20. If I send it to all my contacts, 70 will come. That also I did. Today also I did not send to everybody. I sent only those people who were in contact with me for last 1 month. Only to them I have sent. If I do it all my contacts, I am sure 100 people will be there. Why should I do it? So I kept it low. Right? So it's a big effort. Don't think it is that easy. It's a big effort.
I have sent, Guruji, I have sent at least 125 people.
Good.
And they say, oh, do you listen to all Gita at this age?
Yeah.
So which is the age to listen?
Yeah, it all depends. I am blessed with a lot of people like Sona. Everybody gets introduced to me. At least every session when I talk, there are at least a few people who joins. Hari, all these people, Hari and Sona was introduced on a program where, where they were also participating. I gave a lecture. So similarly, Jayanti Sahu knows me because one seminar which was conducted by Pillai. And Dilip ji I know only because I was also part of a speaker when one conference was there. But we related very fast together because we had a lot of connections. One connection was Yati, another connection was Bua and my Swami Rama association. So many such connections.
Last week we talked about Shastra Sahitya Parishad.
Yeah, Parishad also. We have no hatred to anybody. Even Marxist people are also very good people for me. Because sometimes they logically think. It is much better than people don't even think logically. Correct. You first be against it, no problem. Charvakas also good. We need critics. And you can make them to realize after some time. That's possible.
So anyway, we'll discuss and figure out
Yeah.
what is next. So on Tuesday evening we have our annual interfaith celebration, holiday celebration. That is 36th annual program. I put the link on chat box. So please join. And January 1st we may have a session. So most of the people's emails I have will send an email. Then we'll update. So I am happy and very thankful to Dr. DrTPS putting his effort and dedication for this 22 days only for this. We did so many other events, but it's very hard to get dedicated people. I had really hard time for last 20 years, putting things. People come and go, that's the way. But I appreciate that part. And it was very interesting. And he summarized everything within 21 days actually. That was the best part. Right? And then I'm still start listening all the videos from the beginning. So that is a learning process for me too. So let us see. Whatever we can do.
Dilip ji, if anybody has to say anything, probably you should give some chance.
Yes. Like to hear from feedback, please. Open to everyone.
Only thing is, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Acharya for the sessions that we had. We wish to continue. In any form, whatever form you want to teach us, we will accept it and we will continue. I think everyone is there requested for continuation of the sessions in any form, whether it be Bhagavad Gita, Purana, or anything that you think is good for us. We will continue to learn from this. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for that interest and nice words.
Namaskara, Acharya.
Namaste.
Thank you very much. ഈ ക്ലാസ് ഈ അറിവുകളും ഗുരുജിന്റെയും ആചാര്യന്റെയും ആദ്യത്തിൽ കൂടി നമസ്കാരം. അത് എന്ന് വെച്ചാല് ഈ ക്ലാസ്സിൽ പല സമയത്തും ഹൃദയത്തിൽ ഒരു നിർവൃതി ഉണ്ടാവുക എന്ന് പറയുമ്പോൾ നമ്മൾ അറിയാതെ കണ്ണീരൊഴുക്കി പോകുന്ന അവസ്ഥ എനിക്ക് പലപ്പോഴും ഉണ്ടായിട്ടുണ്ട്. അതെനിക്ക് അവിടത്തോട് പറഞ്ഞറിയും രണ്ടുപേരോടും ഈ ഒരു അവസ്ഥ നിങ്ങളെ ക്ലാസ് പങ്കെടുക്കാനും എല്ലാത്തിനും അതിനോടുള്ള ഇൻട്രസ്റ്റ് തോന്നാനും എല്ലാത്തിനും കൂടി ചെയ്തെന്ന ഒരു ഇതിന് എത്ര ശ്രമിച്ചാലും അത് ഒരിക്കലും ജീവിതത്തിൽ മറക്കാൻ പറ്റാത്തൊരു അനുഭവം തന്നെയായിരുന്നു. അപ്പോൾ ഇനി ഇങ്ങനെ ഒരു അവസരം ഞങ്ങൾക്ക് വേണ്ടിയിട്ട് പങ്കിട്ടാൽ ഞങ്ങൾ എല്ലാ വഴിതാക്കൾക്കും നല്ലതായിരിക്കുമെന്ന് എൻ്റെ മനസ്സ് തോന്നുന്നു. അടുത്ത പാദത്തെ സമർപ്പിക്കും.
We'll keep meeting. I know Sheila ji every day after that program, before the program also, he keeps on messaging. And so nice to hear somebody when they give feedback and then look at it, right? Yeah. We'll close it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
For your
Thank you, Kanakadurga.
Thank you again, DPG, and thank you everyone, those who are part of this wonderful journey. We will continue our journey in different form. Let us see.
Thank you.
You all a happy holiday.